Good evening and welcome to the Jon Gaunt podcast. Tonight, where is Starmer? He's hiding in the bunker. The Mandelson scandal is growing. And the Palestinian video. Why didn't he have a press conference? I'll tell you why. Because as Mrs. Thatcher would say, he's frit. He's scared. He waits till Trump is back safely in the United States at the funeral of Kirk. And what's he do? Then he puts out a video saying we're changing our position completely on Palestine. The man is a gutless coward. Do you agree or disagree? Let's get your views and let's get started. So, good evening. Welcome to the podcast. Tonight, we've got to talk about the mess that Keir Starmer has created for himself. After the Mandelson scandal, which in my opinion has not gone away yet because he hasn't explained himself, but once that happened, he vanished into his Downing Street bunker, unfortunately without the revolver and without the glass of whiskey. It's a metaphor. There's been no Commons appearance. He's lucky because the Commons are now in recess because of the party conferences, but he's had no press conference. He didn't put a video out about Mandelson. Nothing. Absolute zilch. Then he sent somebody Wednesday afternoon to take questions on his behalf because he was too frit. He's a spineless coward. Do you agree with me? And then all goes, I missed the bit, of course, the press conference, which was gerrymandered at Windsor, where his people only let a few people speak and ask questions, mostly Americans, and it was President Trump who asked the woman from GB News to speak, Bev, but otherwise there was going to be no tough questions. This isn't right. This is a democracy. He's not blooming Kim Jong-un or whatever his name is in North Korea, is he? And then, out of nowhere, he drops the pre-recorded video announcing support for Palestine. So without any real discussion, and the excuse being, well, Israel haven't done what I told them to do. Why the hell should they do what you say, Starmer? He says, right, I'm now supporting terrorism. He gave them an own goal. He gave them a gift to Hamas. Within minutes, Hamas are dancing in the street, not burning effigies of him for once, but celebrating. He has given in to terror. And is it because the Israel war, the terrorism there, is that because it affects us? No, it might make it more difficult to get an avocado from the co-op because those virtual signal tossers are like Starmer. It's all for appearance. And with Starmer, it's even worse. He's not doing it to help the children of Gaza who have been in a genocide. He's doing it to try and save his own scrawny neck because he knows significant numbers of Muslims, or he thinks, won't vote for him. They'll vote for Zara Sultana, or whatever her name is, and Jeremy Corbyn's new party, if they can stop bickering. He's worried about that. Jess, whatever, Phillips, she nearly lost her seat in the general election, and there were others who lost out to Muslims who were largely supported by the so-called Muslim bloc vote. This isn't outrageous. It isn't wrong. Well, it's wrong, but I'm not saying anything that's not true. So his support for Palestine, which doesn't even really exist, hasn't had elections for 14 years, it isn't a state, no matter what he says. And of course, Donald Trump made that point before he flew off. And somebody in the press pack says, why are you waiting to announce your support for Palestine until President Trump has gone? I'll tell you why. He's frit. He's a chicken. He's got no spine. But he's taking our country somewhere where we don't want to go. He's put us against the Americans and against Israel. Why? Well, because to try and save him, because a few guys in Bradford might not vote for him anymore. I'm sorry. I don't want Britain to become sectarian voting, get into sectarian voting based on someone's religion. I think all religion is bollocks, right? And I think it's great. I live in a country where I can say that. But it's becoming that we won't be able to, because this lousy Labour Party also want to have a real definition of Islamophobia. It's ludicrous. Like the meat in most of our supermarkets in restaurants now is halal. Why? Why? It didn't all go kosher because we had Jews living in the country. The majority population is Christian. We shouldn't be eating food that's killed in that barbaric way. And if we are, and I mean that with the Jews as well, we should be clearly told that on the wrappers. You're not. A lot of the meat you're getting from Marks and Spencer's, for example, is religiously slaughtered, usually halal. It's wrong. Why are we bending to a minority? And now we've got a prime minister who's playing right to that gallery. And so he puts out a video. He could have had a press conference. He would have got hammered by the press. Even the mainstream press would have asked him difficult questions like, why are you doing it now? Do you really believe in this? Is this about the Muslim bloc vote? And he wouldn't have been able to answer the slime ball. But no, he puts out a video. And not only that, look at the picture of him there. That's a picture from him doing his video. He's bricking himself. He knows what he's doing is wrong. It's an affront to democracy. It's an affront to the great office of Prime Minister of Great Britain. He is out of order. Do you agree or disagree? I am absolutely fuming about this. I know other people are talking about Farage and his immigration thing, which we might talk about tomorrow. And also, I do want to talk about that wonderful, wonderful moment when Charlie Kirk's wife said she forgave his alleged killer. And we will later in the programme. But I do want to just concentrate on this for a moment, because, as you know, I don't like going with the crowd. I say what I think's important. And I think this is vital, that our Prime Minister is not talking to us about this subject. That he had a video press release, in effect, which he couldn't even deliver. He couldn't deliver a pizza, let alone a statement. It was terrible. It was wooden. It was robotic. And it was also him. Look at him there. He's bricking himself. He knows he's against the ropes. And what have I told you before? When somebody's on the ropes, you keep punching until they're on the floor. That's the way you win. Are you with me or against me? As you can see, I'm a little bit wound up about this. Also, as well, today, the backlash was pretty instant yesterday. Accusations of rewarding terrorism. Well, what else would it be? We'll get a load of hostages. We'll rape them. We'll kill them. We'll put them in virtual dungeons. We'll release a few. But then I'll tell you what we'll do. You're going to then recognise Palestine, and we might consider releasing them. There should have been no recognition of Palestine, which doesn't exist anyway, until Hamas, the terrorists, had released the people. And the Palestinian Authority, I saw that Burke on the telly. He was an aggressive little shit, wasn't he? I'm not saying he's a terrorist, because, of course, there's a difference. It's a bit like the IRA and Sinn Féin. But this spineless amoeba, this blancmange, to try and save his own neck, is now playing to the Muslim gallery. And then within minutes, Hamas are celebrating. They're throwing their flip-flops in the air. They're dancing in the streets. Not like Martha Reeves. But the polls that come out here, not the Polish polls, POLLS, they show that 9 out of 10 Brits are against him and agree with me. There should have been a proper debate about whether we recognise Palestine. Oh, and the other surprise, because he's hiding, he hasn't knobbed off to New York. He sent Yvette, hasn't he? Yvette Cooper, the useless her ex-Home Secretary. Fat Lammy's gone as well because he's been told there's free Jaffa cakes on offer. So he's gone across. That was obviously some deal. When they sacked him as Foreign Secretary, he must have said, no, I want to go to the UN Council where we decide to recognise Palestine. So he's gone. Starmer's not gone. Why? Because to go, he'd have to come out of hiding. He'd have to come out of his study. He'd have to come out of his bunker. And somebody in the press might ask him a difficult question. It'll probably be Bev Turner from GB News because the rest of them are so far up his arse they could clean his teeth from inside. This is wrong. This is wrong. Then add on to that, he did it after Trump was away. Not only away, did it on the Sunday when they were all going to be at Charlie Kirk's funeral, which, by the way, was an amazing spectacle, the bits I saw. I think that's disgusting. And he's doing it because he's concerned about the Muslim bloc vote and Jeremy Corbyn's new party. This isn't leadership. This is the actions of a lame duck leader. I'll go further. Like I've said today on my little picture with this, he's a coward. He's a spineless coward. And the worst thing is, the scandals, the backlash. This all means that Starmer's future is numbered. But meanwhile, because we can't get rid of him at the moment, he's dragging our bloody country down. And you should be angry about this. Maybe not as angry as me, but you should be angry. He is a blooming disgrace. Thank you, by the way, over the weekend. If you haven't heard, if you're somebody who's donated, you'd have got a special email from me. But just to let you know, we've gone over the 1 million mark. And today, I checked just before I came on, we've got 1,035,772 video downloads. It's amazing. And I couldn't have done this without you. So thank you very, very much indeed. And if you'd like to keep doing that, keep downloading, tell your friends about it, smash the like button. And if you want to donate, please do. www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. I'll tell you some of the people who've done that over the weekend. Pam Millett, Mark Peaty, Gary Munnery, Colin Rowell, I think it is, David Marks, Bob Chivers, Maggie Young, Sherry Kennedy, and Matt Taylor. Thank you ever so much. It all helps me keep these going. If you want to do that, it's www.buymeacoffee.com, or alternatively, you could just press the $sign underneath the video on YouTube. And loads of people have subscribed to my YouTube channel over the weekend. That's going gangbusters as well. The target there is to get to 10,000. We're just shy of 5,000 subscribers. It's Jon Gaunt TV. You just go there and it asks you if you want to subscribe. Don't worry, no money. It's completely and utterly free. Right, that's what we're talking about. Does that get your juices flowing? Later in the show, when I've calmed down a bit, we'll talk about Charlie Kirk and forgiveness. I found it amazing what she said, and I would like to know what you think about it. And also, we'll talk about Farage, just, you know, his whole thing about immigrants. I'm not sure he's got that right, but I'll probably do a whole show on that tomorrow. Right, let's go. Hi, Niven Casey. Hi, John. Did you see Hamas celebrating Starmer's sellout of Israel? Yes, Niven, wait a minute. It's not just a sellout of Israel. It's a sellout of every single Brit. It's a sellout of every single American, because Starmer can't do anything. He can say what the hell he likes, but without the weaponry and the funding from America, he's just a poser. It's just bullshit. Absolute bullshit. It's just parading. It's a little dance. Look at me, aren't I important? Only problem is he can't come out of his bunker at the moment because he's hiding from us, the British public. Anyway, back to your point. Did you see Hamas celebrating Starmer's sellout of Israel? It did. It made me sick to the stomach. By publicly executing 3 Gazans for allegedly collaborating with Israel. Well, of course they'll do that. They're savages. They're complete savages. I doubt whether many of those hostages that are still there are alive. I hate to say this. And I see today Begum, you know, the woman who ran off to marry a blooming terrorist, in Afghanistan, she's trying to get rehabilitated. He'll probably let her in. He'll find some reason. It's a farce. It's a disgrace. Hi, John. I totally agree with you about that has been the announcement. I can't even read what that says. Craig, write it again. Hi, John. I totally agree with you about that has been announcement of the numbers of dinghy divers. I haven't said anything about that. What are you on about? Please read what you're writing. I don't want to be stroppy, but we're trying to do powerful broadcasting here. John, I'm sick of what's going on, says Lily Cat. That's better. Thank you. John, Starmer has given Israel the two fingers, I think. Craig, that's better. You've written something that makes sense. Jackie Ward, I totally agree with you, John, about religion. It is all bollocks, as you say. I detest religious slaughter. Starmer is playing a very dangerous game. He's setting the UK against our own allies. Well, that's why I'm so angry, Jackie. He set us against Israel. He set us against Donald Trump. Why has he done it? And then she says, I hate everything he does. And when I talk about religious slaughter, when I talk about halal, look, if you want to eat halal, fine. But I was thinking about this today. How much of the food now, if people like Marks and Spencer, somebody told me all the lamb from New Zealand now is halal. When were we asked? All school meals are halal. When were we asked about this? And this isn't an anti-Muslim rant. I just think religion's rubbish, all religion. Respect you if you want to be, and I'll be tolerant of you. But I'm not going to live by your rules. I'm not going to allow you to tell me what blasphemy is. Anyway, just going back a step, when it comes to halal, you haven't asked me whether you want all your meat to be halal, because I don't. Just like I don't want it to be kosher. Now, if you do, fair enough, have a little arbitrage where you get yours done. That's fine. Clearly labelled, you can have it. See, I'm objecting on two levels. One, it's bloody cruel. No two ways about it. It's cruel and it's wrong. But also, I don't think the standards in those laboratories, I've walked past halal butchers. I wouldn't give that meat to my dog. Now, don't say that makes me a racist, because it doesn't. If Nigel gets in, can he reverse it? Well, so he's got to get in first, Lily. And also, I think he's got to be careful with some of the stuff he's coming out with. I think he over the top today, personally. Siding with terrorists over the only democracy in the Middle East for internal party politics. The man is a wuss. Sigh hat. That's the best comment I've had tonight so far. Absolutely on the money. He's siding with terrorists. I'm not saying the Palestinian Authority are terrorists, but Hamas are, who won the election 14 years ago, and there hasn't been one since. You make your mind up. John, have you signed the petitions about Palestine and digital ID? No. I think I'm more powerful doing things like this, but, if it comes my way, I might sign it. You sign it if you want. Starmer's cost the UK, that Trump, $74 billion deal by that Palestine recognition. Starmer has committed treason. Well, I don't think we'll necessarily lose that trade deal. Is that what you're talking about? The IA, not IA, what do you call it? You know what I'm talking about, the artificial AI. IA. AI. I don't think we'll necessarily lose that, because that's in both sides' interest, hula hoop. But he's certainly winding up Trump, and I would suggest that's a bad idea. I'd suggest that's probably a bad idea. But he's such a wimp, he couldn't say it to his face. That's the other thing. In that press conference, which was so heavily curated by Starmer's number 10 team, who, by the look of it, are mired up to here in scandal themselves, it was just ridiculous. He again said he was into free speech. Seems to have had a memory loss about Lucy Connolly or about the creator of Father Ted. This guy is a grade 1 bullshitting liar without a spine. I wouldn't mind if he was a bit of a liar, a bit of a boy, you know what I mean? If he was making our country better. But he's wrecking our country. Are you with me or against me? I want to say as well, hi to Wojtek Krajewski, one of my long-term listeners. He's just been away. I wondered where he got to, actually. He sent me an email today saying, 1 million was the title on the email. And he said, I never doubted you'd get there. And I thought, well, thank you. And he's also contributed several times a lot of cash to these podcasts. So, Wojtek, you are a superstar. Thank you, my friend. Further proof that Starmer is a lunatic. He's done this to placate placate the backbenchers of a certain persuasion, Warwick Milne. Warwick, you're not saying anything racist. You didn't have to say certain persuasion. You could have said his Muslim backbenchers. That's not a racist statement. It's a statement of fact. Not all his backbenchers are Muslim, but some of them are, and they're the ones who are doing this. But it's also people like Jess Phillips. But Jess Yates, that's Paula Yates's. No. Yes, Paula Yates's alleged dad, but it turned out to be Huey Green. Weird, the world of showbiz. But just take a step back there. Don't censor yourself like that. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Nothing wrong with saying it's some Muslim backbenchers doing it, but it's also people like Jess Phillips. And also then you've got to say, is that why they all dragged their feet? It certainly is why the local councils did when they were Muslim dominated, some of them. That's why we didn't have the inquiry. And then we've got Sadiq Khan. There's been no rape gangs in London. Gosh, we're meant to believe this. And it would be funny and annoying. But it's sickening when you're talking about young girls, some as young as 12, being raped by these people. Absolutely sickening. David McGeechee. All right, David. He's from Livy boy. He's been a big fan of mine for a long time, big listener. Hamas was so happy they even did a bit of light beheading before lunchtime. Well, big days deserve something special. Yeah, you're right, David. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like the other guy said earlier, Niven. They celebrated by chopping the head off 3 people. These are the people Starmer's siding with. No wonder he won't come out of his bloody bunker. It's terrible. I can't believe it's happening. Oh, and David, thank you, by the way. You're one of my big donators. Thank you ever so much indeed. If you haven't heard the news, we've got to over 1 million views. We're now going to get the subscribers up to 10,000. So I want everybody to tell their mates to subscribe as well, please. Doesn't cost anything. Just go to Jon Gaunt TV on YouTube and subscribe. And what you get for that is you get all the information about when I'm doing extra shows. I did an extra show yesterday. It went down a storm. Thank you for that. Gaunty, how much will this cost us as well? More billions. Of course. He doesn't care. No, Gavin, please don't do things like that. You don't know whether about the rent boys. You're just gossiping. Wait, there's a trial coming up. Wait. Stephen Killett, why doesn't the King step in and dissolve Parliament? Many people have said that he won't. He won't. End of story. So in a way, it's kind of a waste of time even mentioning it now. May Brennard, I agree with everything you say, John. Oh, please tell my wife. She's out tonight. I've got a bit of a pass out. I've cooked a chili. It's all ready to go. So, but I think I'm gonna watch EastEnders. I don't know. What do you reckon? But she'll be back. She did the audit sheet this morning. She was very pleased that 2 or 3 people yesterday donated on YouTube as well by clicking the little, see that link? I'm a professional. She was very pleased that a few people had donated yesterday. So thank you for that. So to keep our Lisa happy, come on, press the little $sign. And send me a $5 or something. Let's keep this going. Denise Deacon, Starmer is such a snide. Oh, I love that word. Trying to save his own neck rather than doing something honourable like negotiating for them to release the hostages. This mistake will go down in history as a traitorous act. You're absolutely right. And also, on one level, what the effing hell's it got to do with this? I'd rather he was concentrating on Dover. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'd rather he was concentrating on. Don't get me wrong, the people on both sides who are being killed in Israel and Gaza, yes, it's horrible. I don't believe there's a genocide. I think that's an over-the-top description of it. But then we don't know because they won't let in the press and Israel won't let the press in there. So we don't know. And Israel do go over the top sometimes. See, I'm pretty fair about it. But I don't want our Prime Minister playing to the gallery. Do you? Craig says, John, congratulations. What for? Am I having a child? Thank you very much. Oh, you mean 1 million listeners? Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? It is brilliant. 1 million. I couldn't even read it. I've had to practice this. It's 1,035,772. But it'll be going up now because loads of people are watching. So thanks for that. Just keep spreading the word, guys. Just keep spreading the word. And to think this, I started it with nothing. I heard from Adam. I told you about Adam. He's the lad who got me the lights. He said, "Oh, congratulations. What a nice guy, mild-mannered. Didn't say anything about what he'd done for me. You're special. I mean that in the proper way, Adam. You're a nice guy, a really nice guy. Not only that, I think I said it yesterday. One of the figures came out. He's the one I met him to get the lights off him, and we had a chat. And without him realising it, he kicked me up the arse. He gave me a bit more motivation because I was getting fed up. I wasn't going to carry on. I didn't say that to him, but he was just brilliant. So, Adam, if you're watching tonight, you're a superstar. Thank you very, very much indeed. Faith Bowman, I don't think I've ever hated a PM as much as I hate Starmer. I like this next bit. He disgusts me. Nice one. I agree. Dave Whiteman, Israel and Palestine are of no concern to me. I understand that sentiment, Dave, but sometimes you feel as if you can't say it, don't you? It's not number one priority for me either, mate. I've got to tell you. From the river to the sea means only a single state solution, which of course does not include Israel, and most notably the Jews, says Niven Casey. Bang on the money, Niven. Bang on the money. He's given in to terrorism. The man, he knows he's done wrong. See, this is what I'm trying to get at. That's the central ethos of, point I'm trying to make tonight. He didn't announce it in the week. He didn't order the press. He could have ordered the press to come to down the street any time of the day and night, 7 days a week, and they'd all be there. Hello, Prime Minister. Right? He didn't want them there because he doesn't want a hard question. When is he going to take something hard? Stop sniggering at the back. When is he going to take a hard question again? You see, because you've got to think about what's happening. You've got to remember the political calendar. It's the Lib Dems. They're having their conference today in Bournemouth. I think it's in a phone box. But anyway, they are. We had Nigel's lot the other week. Next week, I think it's the Tories, is it? And then it's Labour. There's no politics going on at the moment. And at the Labour conference, he's not going to get any real hard questions. He'll be missing in action again. This is your Prime Minister. This is the man who promised change. Do you remember? Change? He couldn't change a freaking light bulb. Where are we going next? Niven, I've done you. Steve, can you be patient if you've been typing up comments? We will get to you. I promise you. I've already cooked the chili, so I've only got to just reheat it a bit. Be sorted. Evening, John. I'm as worked up as you about Starmer. I don't think that's possible. I'm almost blowing a bloody fuse tonight about Starmer selling our country down the river. I'm so mad with him. If I came across him, I'd give him a slap and tell him so. He got into power by lying. Well, now, please, I know you're joking, Steve, and I know you probably mean a metaphorical slap, but no violence. No. Thank you. But I understand where you're coming from in terms of the emotion. I hope Trump and America turn on him. Well, I had that thought, Steve. The only problem is if Trump turns against him, he turns against us all. I want to be in bed, metaphorically speaking, Mr. Starmer. I want to be in bed with Trump, not with you. Shush. Oh, I'm exhausted. I'm absolutely exhausted. Hello is appalling. Dead simple. Ban it. Well, I think it's simple as well, Warwick. I think it's got no place in a modern civilized democracy. Now, that's not surely. Now, you watch. I'll probably get up on a charge for that. But I don't think it is. I don't think that's anti anybody. I just think if I'm going to eat that food, I want to know who slaughtered it. What's the point? You see all these labels on your food now, don't you? But they're always conning you. British beef. And then you find out it's actually from the Republic of Ireland and it only got shot here or whatever. Or slaughtered it. It's just all wrong. It's all wrong. Anyway. And then they worried about bloody chlorinated chicken or something from the States. Craig says, John, I wonder how many dinghy divers, you mean, do you mean dinghy divers? Oh, I don't know what you mean. I've turned up today. I'm not really that interested. I don't think many because the weather's not been good enough, has it? But tonight, there's bigger things to fry, Craig. Try and keep on my agenda. I understand politics. I'm trying to educate you. Anybody going to donate or is it going to be an evening where I've got to sort of avoid Lisa when she comes in? Come on. Canada and Australia are also to recognise Palestine Labour Palestine. Labour governments also. Macron is also terrified of Antifa in Paris. I bet he is. It's a good point you're making, Mick. I think Portugal as well are going to recognise them. What does it mean, though? What does it mean recognising them? Because unless the most powerful country in the world and the most powerful man in the world, Trump, does it, it makes not a blind bit of difference. Do you agree or disagree? Going to talk in a moment about Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica, and about forgiveness. In a minute, I'll just add that into the pot. David says, can anyone tell me how appeasing Hamas like this is meant to help peace? No, I think it's taking the peace, David. As Starmer said, I don't even understand it from his point of view. Surely it just encourages them to keep on at what they're doing. Yeah, it rewards terrorism, David. But you see, he's not bothered about that. He just wants to make sure that Zara Sultana, or whatever her name is, right? She's the Coventry MP. She's MP for Fossil in Coventry and the Gaza Strip, right? He just wants to make sure that she's kept sweet. And Jeremy Corbyn. And the people who support them. Because Birmingham was a classic example. They are scared stiff. So's Coventry. They're scared stiff of what's called the Muslim bloc vote. Now, there shouldn't be any kind of... Now, if we suddenly said, what about the white Christian bloc vote? We'll be up on a charge. It's wrong. It's a democracy. You can have your religion. We tolerate it. I haven't got a problem. I'm not one of these blokes who gets upset that my kids had to learn about Diwali and Hinduism and the rest of it. Of course not. That's good. It's good that they learn these things. Not a problem. I mean, I was watching, I don't know if you've been two programs I've got to talk about, right? First of all, Freddie Flintoff. Why hasn't he been knighted? Why hasn't he been knighted? That program he's doing, Field of Dreams, it's the third or fourth series now. What he's doing with those kids and the moments when he sits down, he was sitting down with a girl who had really lost her rag. I really felt for her because she'd been in care for a long, long time. And she was exhibiting all the classic symbols and attitude of somebody who's been in care for a long time. Of course, I know people like that because I was in for a short time. But the way he spoke, but not just spoke, the way he just listened. I said to Lisa, do you think he's been taught to do that? She said, no. He's obviously, because he was the captain of the top cricket teams and was captain of England for a moment. We all had that image, didn't we, of Freddie? You remember when we won the Ashes and they came back, they all got pissed up, and then there was Freddie on the boat thing, wasn't there? But there was at Downing Street and all that. That he was just like Gaza. Clearly not. And that program is brilliant, and it's showing that some working class people who have been written off have got such potential if somebody just takes a moment to let them express themselves. He should be knighted. He should have been knighted for his cricket exploits. Ian Botham was, and a great player and a good friend of mine as well. But Freddie Flintoff should be knighted. You can agree with that if you want. Side issue. Second side issue. Ryland. Is it Ryland? Yeah. And that Judge Rinder. The first program when they went to Italy, did you see that? They did a whole series in Italy where the judge was teaching Ryland about art, yeah, and Ryan was teaching the judge about life, real life. It was just brilliant. Well, now they're in India, and as you know, I love India, and it's absolutely brilliant telly. And when you see that program, like now they've just gone to a part of India, the culture, the religion, the alternative health, the rest of it. And when Indians came to our country, and we treated them just so terribly. I'm not going all liberal and woke on you, but watch that program. And, you know, the culture, I know there's a lot of problems still with India. Of course there are. But I just found it amazing. And like Ryland is on this voyage of discovery. And it's just brilliant. And there's some really funny bits in it as well. Who comes up with these ideas? There's two brilliant program ideas. Brilliant. And then, of course, the BBC go and spoil it all by basically doing a rip-off of Love Island. Bunch of slags getting the kit off. I don't. That's not the BBC's job, is it? But anyway, that's a side issue. Where is the RSPCA in the halal killings? Also, is it true that Palestine have put in a reparations request of $2 trillion? I don't know if they've put it in yet, Paul, on Facebook, but yeah, they reckon it could cost us £2 trillion that we're going to have to end up paying Palestine, which doesn't even exist. Just nonsense. All religious slaughter is barbaric and should be banned. It's culturally incompatible with this nation. Well, that's kind of where I'm coming from. I don't mind if it was regulated, but what I do mind is I don't want to eat it. If I go to an Indian restaurant and I have a curry, no doubt, if it's not vegetarian, it probably will be halal. I understand that, accept that. That's fine. But not something from Marx. No. Or a joint. No. Does that make me a racist? I think not. I wouldn't mind some comments about Freddie and I think Ryland, by the way, is the most naturally gifted TV presenter on telly at the moment. He's going to be a superstar. And of course, all the woke brigade tried to wreck his career about 2 weeks ago because he just said what everybody's thinking. They try to make out he's a racist. He couldn't spell racist, let alone be one. Sorry, I don't mean to be nasty. I think he's brilliant. And the two of them in that program, they're both gay. And the joke is that Rob, the judge, fancies what's her name. But it's hard to explain. You can have all the programs you want in the world about tolerance and about accepting homosexuality and the rest of it. But then he does a documentary with that Rob and everyone just accepts it. And that's where we are, isn't it? No one's uptight about who you sleep with nowadays, are they? I don't think so. But I just think there's such positive role models, not just for young gay men, but for everybody. And I love the way that Ryland's always phoning his mum. So he's on the Ganges or he's on some river in India and he FaceTimes his mum. And he goes, all I can see, he's got all these cameras around his garden. He says, she's cutting the lawn. He's not from Birmingham. And then he goes, hello, mum. And she says, where are you? I'm in India. How are you? I'm all right, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, okay, I'll see you later. And she goes, yeah. She's not perturbed by the fact that he's in India. And it's just so down to earth. It's brilliant. We get a lot of intelligence, military and high-tech assistance from Israel, says Niven. This is a very important point. But maybe no more. It could cost us dearly. I think that's a very, very fair point, Niven. Thank you. And it's well made. Thank you for that. Terry Barton had just slotted in a £5. Thank you, Terry. Lisa will love you for that when she gets back in from work tonight. Thank you very much indeed. I'll make sure your name goes up on the list. Warwick, if you want to do that, you just press the little $sign at the bottom of the screen on YouTube. 37 minutes. Starmer surrounds himself with clowns in an effort to make him look better, but he fails. That's the bottom line, Warwick. I was always taught that if you're good, you surround yourself with other good people who are as good as you at what they do. Took me a long time to learn that lesson, but that's what you need to do. You just surround yourself by yes men. You're going to fail. He carries on to say they are all such liars. The unwritten part of their manifesto is wealth redistribution, but they didn't dare say it then, and they daren't say it now. I think that's a brilliant comment. Niven Casey, you're on fire tonight. Brendan O'Neill made a good comment. When Starmer going to recognise the UK? That's absolutely right. He's recognising every terrorist tin pot organisation in the world, but does he ever recognise the United Kingdom? He certainly never puts us forward. Oh, and have you seen that? He wrote an article for The Sun. I was reading it again this morning. I think it was in The Sun on Sunday, where he talks about the flag and when he went to the football and he was in the crowd and the flag means this, the flag means that. It's the most insincere load of cobblers I've ever read in my life. Well, apart from some of the stuff I've written. Absolute tosh. When you buy meat, make sure it's got the United Kingdom flag on. Then it's definitely not halal, says David Edwards. Are you sure? Can anyone else back that up? I'm not having a go at you, Dave. I don't know. Of course, the IDF won't let the press in. Falklands War, limited, embedded press with British public on side. Vietnam, press running riot. And the US lost on the home front. That's side. Very good point. Very, very good point. Traitor. Big one, says John Malone. That's all he wants to say. And I think we understand what you mean. Thank you, my friend. Let's hope all this backfires on Starmer, says Richard Pope. He's certainly making a rod for his own back. You're just tempting me to make crude jokes, Richard. So I'll tell you what. Richard says he's certainly making a rod for his own back. That was me pausing for you to fill in the blanks of what I was thinking, and now we can all laugh. Oh, look, everyone's chucking money in. Brilliant. Sty Hats has just paid for a super sticker, $2.99 or £3. Thank you. You do that by pressing the little dollar sign. Every single pound